It is so great to see everybody. I hope y'all can hear me great. Give me a thumbs up if you can. Perfect, perfect. I am absolutely thrilled to spend this time with you all today. So I'm so glad that you showed up for yourself. So in our time together, you're going to feel more confident and inspired than before to believe in your dreams and make your next bold move. So be sure to stay until the end because there's some surprises for you as well and some special information that you'll receive. So let's get ready to leave the ordinary behind, shift gears, and step into an extraordinary life. So let me begin with a story. So there was a mother mouse, and she was in the kitchen with her baby mice, her little kids, and they lived there. So they were nice and cozy and doing their own thing. And one night, while they were in the kitchen that night, she heard an animal moving. Well, she looked around, and it was this huge cat. And that cat looked at them and he smelled his next meal. He started creeping closer and closer to them, and his teeth started coming through his mouth like he was ready to eat. And just as he was getting ready to pounce without missing a beat, the mother mouse puffed her little chest up like Mighty Mouse and stood on her hind legs, and in her most intimidating voice bellowed, "Roof, roof, roof." And the cat's eyes got really big. And it bolted out of the room like somebody turned on a vacuum cleaner because he thought he heard a dog. Well, the thing is, then the mother mouse turned to her babies and she smiled and she said, "See, kids, that's why we learn more than one language." She said, "I can speak mouse and I can speak dog." But I just share that story because we can all learn more than one language. And today we're going to learn the language of success. Okay. This is a language that creates the results that you want, the results that you actually want. And once we consciously understand this language, we can apply it to any area of our life that we want to improve. So, this system of success that we're going to be exploring today, it has been developed and being used for hundreds of years. Tens of thousands of people, famous actors, NFL players, NBA players, and all types of people are using this information to create a life that they absolutely love. It's proven, it's reliable, it's repeatable. Okay, so to help you receive the most out of this workshop, I invite you to minimize distractions. Y'all are already doing a great job. You're on camera, you're present, you're ready, because we want to make sure that we are what I call the 3 T's, and you're going to bring your full presence here. And that means we are going to be, well, out the 3 T's are tune in, turn up the volume, and tap in. Okay. So if you're ready, just lean in and just wave your hand and say, "I'm in." Awesome. Okay, so I want you to be able to take in information like a sponge. One day, one of my mentors, she was meeting with her mentor who would help like people like Les Brown and like some of the most amazing people that are speakers and in coaching and motivation. And he was saying something to her that she had heard before. And she just nodded her head. And she was like, he said, "What?" And she said, "Yes, I've heard that before." And you know what he said? He said, "You heard it, but if you knew it, your life would show up more abundantly." Right? So there's certain things that you may say, "Oh, I've heard a little piece of that before." But then there's a real knowing. And when there's this next level of knowing, it's like your life begins to show that thing even more abundantly. I see your amen in the chat. Thank you. And y'all, this is a talk back. So you perfectly fine to type in the chat, perfectly fine to do all those things. Okay, so today we want to tune in, we want to pay attention, we want to focus, engage. Then you want to turn up the volume. Turn up the volume means however you normally do on Zoom, turn it up times 10. Like, let's just come. Like, let's just do it. Let's do this thing. The third T is transformational willingness. Transformational willingness is so important because it's saying, I'm willing to grow. I'm willing to learn. It's saying, I'm going to let go of beliefs that no longer help me so I can reach my highest potential. So, Gail, it's transformational willingness. Nothing happens without a decision. So let's cultivate the environment that moves you forward. Okay, so I want to know who's in the room. So I'm about to give you guys 4 categories. As I list these 4 categories, when you hear one that you recognize that feels like you, write down the category. Okay, so category number 1 is the unfulfilled achiever. Okay, so this is what it feels like if you're experiencing that. You checked all the boxes: education, career, business, but something feels off. You absolutely, beyond a shadow of a doubt, know that you are meant for more, but you feel stuck trying to figure out your next big move. You want alignment, clarity, and strategy to step into your next level with ease. So that's the first one. Number two is the overworked and underpaid visionary. Okay, what does that look like? You have gifts, talents, and ideas, absolutely gifted, but turning them into consistent income feels frustrating. You're tired of working hard without seeing the financial breakthrough that you desire. And you're ready to learn how to monetize your skills and create predictable success. And number three is the fear frozen dreamer. So, this is what that looks like. You have a big dream, but self doubt, fear, imposter syndrome kind of feels like it's holding you back. And then you've seen others succeed, and you're like, man, now I know I can do that. Why is this not happening for me? Also, you may need a mindset shift and a clear roadmap to finally take action. So maybe you fit in that category. And the last category, number four. Number four is the ready for more entrepreneur. So you've already had success in business, but you feel like you've hit an invisible ceiling. Okay. You know how it feels when opportunities are flowing effortlessly, but right now that momentum, it seems like it's missing. And so you're looking for guidance, strategy, and accountability to scale and sustain your success. So those are our four. um, so you, and some people can be like, I'm one, two, and three. So it's perfectly fine. Four, 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 four. Okay, perfect. So if you want to drop in the chat, which ones resonate with you? Is it one, one, two, three? Perfect. Four. Perfect, perfect. Three and four. Perfect, Kia. Got it. Got it. Excellent. Okay, great job popping that in there. So let me share the intention for what we're going to do today. So, you're going to be able to get unstuck and gain clarity. That is a massive part of what we're going to be doing today. Okay. You're going to be able to shift with understanding the concepts of going from overworked to overflowing. In addition to that, we are going to help you, silence fear and activate confidence and break through, most importantly, to your next level. Because listen, when it comes down to it, we know that we're designed for more and we're ready to shift and to grow and to move to that next level. So, with that information in mind, congratulations for putting those things in the chat. So with the getting unstuck, what that looks like, it could look like you've been feeling lost, unfulfilled, unsure of that next move. Well, today my goal is for you to walk away with a clear vision that aligns to your purpose, that sets you up for breakthrough, not just for where you are today, but y'all, we're about to be in 2026. Like this right now, it's October. We have October, November, December to be prepared to walk into 2026 to live our best year, to create, build, and manifest our best year. Okay, so even shifting from overworking to overflowing, like a lot of people, like you're that person for everybody. Like you're the one that shows up, you're the one that's dependable, you're the one that people know can get a prayer through, you're the one that the family calls, like you are that person. And sometimes we're brilliant and people call on us, but that doesn't mean that they're compensating us for the energy that we're spending doing all these things. Okay. So that's another part of it. Maybe we've been working, we spend our whole day doing things for people, but not seeing the financial compensation that would allot for that time and that energy and our talents. Okay. And today, during this session, we are specifically going to address and attack fear as well, and those things that try to hold us back so we can start rewiring your brain to work for you on the next level. Okay. So we're going to shift with that information because this is your time. It's your moment to dream bigger, to move bolder, and to step into the limitless future that God has designed for you. So I'm going to give you absolutely everything I can during this time. And some of you are going to want to take this information further and keep applying certain principles. And so towards the end of this presentation, I will also share with you how you can integrate this into your life on a more regular basis. Everybody up for that? Good, perfect. Okay, so how many of you all have ever set a dream or a goal, and when you first spoke it out loud, you had no clue how it was going to happen? Yes, I see a head. Yep, Gail, you too. Okay, got it. And a lot of us have. And all that is proof right there that you are capable of more than you realize. You're capable of more than you realize. And sometimes we don't have the full roadmap, yet we move forward anyway. You took that step, you trusted the process, and somehow things are coming together. But that's evidence, Kia, that divine potential is already alive inside of you. You've already demonstrated that you can walk by faith and not by sight. From the many stages that I've spoken on, I've had the honor from corporate organizations to empowerment events to church and different conferences and things like that. And I've seen one truth rise over and over and over. Our biggest dreams are often born from our deepest challenges. Our purpose is often revealed through some of our pain. And that's why I work with ambitious leaders who are ready to break free from the limits, to reclaim their momentum and create financial freedom and fulfillment that you absolutely know you're called to experience. Whether you're knowing what your next level is, or you know there's something more and you just don't know what that looks like for you. So one or the other is there. It's one or the other. So that reminds me of this tiger named Rocky. So y'all, there was this little that well, first there was the mom first. So there was a pregnant mommy tiger. And the pregnant mommy tiger, it was the end of her pregnancy, and she was like, okay, well, I've had an amazing pregnancy, and let me just get this one more meal. And then after this one more meal, I should be able to have my baby. So she winds up seeing these goats. So she sees the goats and she starts running and running and running towards the goats. And when she takes a leap to grab a goat, the goat moves and that mommy tiger hit her head on a rock. Well, that knocked her unconscious, and she winded up having the baby. And that baby's name winded up being Rocky. So Rocky's a tiger, right? But Rocky lived and grew up with the goats. Rocky ate grass and all the vegetarian things the goats ate, Evangelist Cheryl. Rocky bleated. He even bleated. He made the sound just like the goats. He did everything the goats did, right? He spent about 3 years with them. And one day they were out in the field and this huge, gigantic male tiger comes running up to eat a goat. And he was thinking about eating a goat, but then he sees Rocky. And he runs up to that baby tiger. All the goats ran away, but Rocky's just sitting there. So that big tiger says, what are you doing here with these goats? And Rocky's like, what do you mean? I am a goat. And he's like, you are not a goat. He's like, man, I'm a vegetarian like the goats. I make the same noises as the goats. He said, I'm a goat. All I've known is being a goat. That big tiger said, come over here to the water. So he took him over to the stream and he said, look at me and look at you. They both looked in the water. That huge tiger said, you look like me. You're not a goat. And Rocky said, it could just be a little coincidence. It could be a coincidence that we look alike. He said, okay, fine, come to my cave. So the big tiger took Rocky to his cave and he gave him some meat. Rocky had never eaten meat in his life. So he smelled it and then he tasted it and he swallowed it after he chewed it up. When that meat went down into his system, Rocky stretched out his arms, he stretched out his back, and he let out this gigantic roar. And that is the roar of awakening. He's like, now I know why I'm different. Now I know that I require different food from the other people. Come on, somebody. Now I know why the people around me may think different. They require something different, but I need substance. This milk, this water, this is not for me. something that's going to move me forward, move my life forward, move my business forward, move my mind forward. Like, I'm not wasting time with that. And so for some of you, you may have more recently had some roars of awakening. Some of you may experience even a roar of awakening today. Some of you, now that you've even heard that term, there may be more roars of awakening that start to happen in your life, but you already know that you're unique. You already know that you are different, that you're special. You already know that you were built different. And when you allow yourself to get around the other people and get around those that are built like you start to change and grow on a monumental level. So I'm going to support you in getting clarity, the clarity you need to break ground on your dream, to break ground on your dream. Okay, so I'm about to share a slide with you guys really quickly as we go through some of this information as well. Okay, perfect. So most of us have signals, and there's two signals for growth, right? So there are two different feelings sending signals that there's more for you than what you have in your life right now. Longing and discontent are the signals that are informing you that there's a desire for more. Something inside of you is seeking growth and seeking transformation. For something to be different, something inside of you is seeking to evolve. The word transformation is transformation. It means to go beyond the current form for the purpose of a greater life experience. Some of you are ready. You know that it's time to go beyond your current form for a greater and better life experience, something more expansive, something more fulfilling, something that fills your cup, something that keeps you laughing all day, something that makes you lay your head on your pillow at night with a whole different level of security and peace and joy. Because we all have results right now. You may be happy about some parts, not so thrilled about some parts. When you invest some time, you start to notice where you feel the most fulfilled and less fulfilled. And you begin to tap into the power of life that's sending you signs and signals that there is more for you. So, when it comes to longing and discontent, let me describe what that is. So longing is something that you don't have in your life that you desire right now. It's like I'm pulling. I'm longing for this. I'm longing to pull this in my life. I have a desire for more of this or for this, for whatever that is. Discontent is something that you do have or you are experiencing right now that is not bringing you on a scale of 1 to 10, a 10 in joy. So what could that look like? Discontent could look like, oh, I do have this business or I do have this job. However, I work too much. So could be a discontent with how much time I have to work based on my compensation. Or a longing could be like, well, I do have X, Y, and Z right now, but I really long to have X this. I really long to have a business that's creating, double six figures. I really long to have, it could be a vehicle. I have this car, but I really long to have X, Y, and Z. Or I really long to have this specific type of loving relationship. So longing is just something that I desire that's not currently in my life. Discontent is something that is in my life that is not bringing me much the joy and satisfaction that I would want right now. Okay. So in just a second, we're going to do an assessment. This assessment isn't about like being embarrassed or anything like that. This assessment that we're going to do is just about, getting some information. So Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith, he said we're often pushed by our pain until we're pulled by our vision. What does that look like? What that looks like is, have you ever made a change because something bothered you so much? Like it's bothering me so much that I'm making a change. That means I'm being pushed by my pain. A lot of times we're pushed by our pain before we can just say, oh, I would love for my life to look like this. And then we make all the immediate necessary adjustments for life to look like that. So a lot of times it's the pain that's causing us to move, not solely our vision. Okay, so that's a quote from Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith, who is a very famous minister and pastor who has been speaking for years and years and years. Okay, so that is a powerful, powerful quote. A little bit about me. I'm a transformational life coach. I've been married In February, just a few months, it'll be 20 years of marriage, and we have known each other for 27 years. And when I started coaching, it was like God was showing me that there were these amazing women that He's created, but life and events and circumstances and projections and failures and things people have said have just like put stuff on them. And He was like, I want you to get all of that off of them and reintroduce them solely back to the them that I created. And that's why it says the you that you've been isn't the you that He created. It's the survived you. Okay. So Romans 12:2 says, be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. So we get to, receive new information that helps transform our mind. Okay, so whether it's the pain of a problem or a burning desire for something new, these two things, the longing and discontent, are often the two key things that are driving our life forward. Is it okay if I share a little bit of my story with y'all? Perfect. Okay, perfect. So, how many of y'all have ever experienced a jolt in your life where you felt unclear about what's next, but you knew that you were meant for more? Yep, you did. Evangelist Cheryl's like, yep. Dr. Brandy, yes. Gail, yes. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay. Uptown Diva, Tamisha. Heck, yep. I see the head nod. Okay. Excellent. Excellent. So I knew for me that what I wanted most was the reward of success and freedom created by doing something that was meaningful. Like I am an impact person. Like I am a person that it truly matters to me to have a deep impact, not even just surface stuff. I wanted to make an impact. I wanted to have flexibility and be rewarded well. So one day I was sitting at my desk and then I turned on the news and it said that the company I worked for was being taken over by the federal government. Y'all, it took my breath away. Like, I'm like, did I just get fired on the news? Like, did I get fired watching the news? Like, is this happening right now? Right? And so my husband and I and our three kids, we had just moved into our new gorgeous 6,000 square foot home. But when that thing happened, like we lost our 401ks, we lost our stock investments and the feeling of security. I felt embarrassed. I Most people that knew me knew I worked for that company, and I actually loved the company. It was one of my favorite companies. I was traveling. I was a part of many different groups, affinity groups. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. I was working from home. I got the pay I asked for, and to now see that this company is being taken over by the Fed, the company that I had been bragging about. I was so embarrassed. And then I had this moment of fear like, now, am I going to be able to find something new that pays me what this thing pays me, that gives me the flexibility, that still has nice people? And then the financial security comes up. Well, how long can I go without having this income at all? Hello, somebody? All of those things came up, and then I felt lied to. Like these people had meetings with us like every month, and none of them said anything about we were in trouble. And here we are being shut down by the Fed. Just a horrible feeling. But have any just I felt like the rug had been pulled from underneath me. Have you ever felt like you had to scramble to figure out your next steps? Like, what am I gonna do? So y'all, after this happened, one minute I was laying in the bed and I was coming into consciousness and my eyes were closed, but I hadn't gotten up yet. And I kept hearing, serve more people, serve more people, serve more people. It was so loud, Dr. Brandy. I jumped up out of bed. God, what people? I do serve people. I pray for people all the time. I'm mentoring people. I'm helping people start businesses. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I serve my church. I'm there 3 times a week, all of these things. And I said, after I went through that, I said, well, what do you want me to do? And God was like, coaching and teaching. And now me and God, y'all, we just have conversations. I wasn't being disrespectful. Like we literally we just talk. So I was like, God, I do that. And no, I'm just processing. My brain is processing what he's saying to me. So I process out loud to God and he talks back to me. Okay. So I said, but I do that. I am coaching and teaching people. And he was like, yeah, on a pygmy level, you play it safe. You do all this stuff. You help all these people and you didn't even build a website. You've been helping people start businesses and you charge them not even enough to get your nails done. I said, man, oh man, what a way to wake up. Coming for your girl like that early this morning. And he was like, you played it just safe enough that all your insecurities, you get to keep them like this. So you didn't stretch yourself because you were afraid. That's why you kept this thing small. And I said, touche, yes, sir. Y'all, so I made the decision to change my life and take back control. Even though I felt uncertain and didn't even know if I'd have a paycheck in 2 weeks, I knew that this conviction that I had, this new conviction, it gave me the courage that helped me decide that the part of me that wanted my dream was going to win over the part of me that was terrified. Because, opportunities rarely come when it's just comfortable and convenient. Like you're going to have to stretch, you're going to come out on the limb. And so in that moment, I began educating myself. I began shifting my mindset, elevating my awareness, using a proven, reliable system that I applied to my life, and everything started changing. I got a mentor and I got a coach, and my life began to evolve. Matter of fact, let me tell you about my life today. Now I feel so fulfilled, stable, empowered. I loved my transformation so much that I wanted to share it with others. My income started increasing by leaps and bounds. Leaps, when I say leaps and bounds, I mean leaps and bounds, like tens of thousands here, 20s and thousands there. And things just started coming out the woodwork. And the most important part was that I got to help other people. One of my clients knew she was meant for more, and she enrolled in my Activate Your Dream Life program. And she got unstuck from the paradigms that were stopping her from taking control of her life. And she started 2 new businesses and a nonprofit. Another one of my clients had a dream to be an international speaker, but she was afraid. She thought that she wasn't as good as the other people that may have had other titles behind their names. But once we worked together, she removed those limiting beliefs and took the step forward just to even apply and became an international speaker. Another one of my clients, she absolutely knew that she was meant for more. She started her own dog food business called God's Paws, and people have been buying her dog food. I mean, things that would blow your app, just absolutely blow your mind. Another one of my clients, he had been in business for over 3 years. And after working with the concepts that I teach, and literally in 8 weeks' time, 8 weeks of working together, he got the biggest sale that he had ever gotten in all that time. And in all of that time, from mindset shifts, from activations, and from tapping in to key laws of success and spiritual laws and principles. And so, y'all, I'm honored that I'm trusted to help people shift their mindsets and create full spectrum abundance in their lives. So today I'm going to share with you 3 of the 10 principles from the systems that have changed my life and can absolutely help you create the life that you love as you apply them too. Okay. And I promise I'm going to give you absolutely everything I can during this masterclass, y'all. And so those 3 keys I'm going to share with you are 3 keys for mastering your results. Dr. Brandy said, man, when he talked back that part, Evangelist Cheryl said, yes, won't he do it? I love helping people. That is amazing. Amazing. So a lot of people are going through their lives doing what they normally do, rolling with the punches, going with the flow, taking it as it comes. And they may take the new job, not because that's like what their dream is, but it's because what they were taught to do. Like for me, when I started off, one, I was doing makeup. So I had been doing makeup for 12 years, but then I was also in corporate America. And there's something called living by design or living by default. Okay. So, living by default, it just means you go with the flow. So, for me, when I was in corporate America, they were like, hey, you're a project manager one. Next thing you need to do is be a project manager two. Hey, you're a business consultant one. The next thing to do is be a business consultant two. And, just going with the flow. Okay, I need it. You do hair. Oh, you're working out of your own suite. And they'll tell you, oh, well, the next thing for you to do is to do this. But are you living by your design of what you actually would love, or is it just default? Is it just somebody's patterns and cycles that they have been just sharing with you that quote unquote should do that next? Oh, you got this. Now you got to do it this way. A lot of people spend more time planning a 2-week vacation than they spend planning out their life. And so in default, people's lives, they're just guided by what other people say, but it's not guided by a real plan of not just what you think is okay, but what would you absolutely love? I don't come into people's life to give them a 1% incremental change. I come into people's lives to help them have a quantum shift, a massive shift. You can follow default and have a little change, but I'm here for the people that are like, push that over and let me walk into this thing that I fully know I'm called to be. Fully know I'm called to be. Okay. So we're going to play a game and I'm going to ask everybody in a moment. We're all going to one by one. We're going to come off mute. Okay. So the game that we're going to play is called Wouldn't It Be Nice? So with this wouldn't it be nice game, this is how it works. So when you come off mute, you're going to tell everybody your name. You're going to tell them your profession. And if you own a business, you can tell them what your business is. And then you're going to say, wouldn't it be nice if? So you could be like, wouldn't it be nice if tomorrow I got a check in the mail for $50,000? Y'all, wouldn't it be nice if whatever you want, if I could eat ice cream and never gain a pound or my stomach not feel funny after I did? Huh? Wouldn't it be nice, y'all, if tomorrow I just happen to be out and about and I just had the most amazing connection with this human being? And, a little time went by and he wound up being my kingdom person, my kingdom mate. Wouldn't it be nice if, whatever it is, wouldn't it be nice if when I got off this thing, I had so many appointments that just got set up with people booking your services that the rest of your week was full? Whatever it is for you, you can make up. It doesn't have to be realistic. Just go, wouldn't it be nice? Okay. So I'm going to call on names just by everybody that's in here. Okay. So I'm just going to go in the order that I see people in here. Okay. So let's see here. Kia, would you mind going first? And then Gail, we're going to come to you after that. And then Dr. Brandy. So Miss Kia, would you mind sharing your, wouldn't it be nice if, tell it first, you'll tell us your name, tell us your profession, or if you own a business, and then wouldn't it be nice if?
Okay, my name is Torkia Kia Canty. My profession is I'm a hairstylist, suite owner. Um, wouldn't it be nice if I was completely, actually, I didn't have to be behind the chair as much as I am and still be financially set?
Come on with it, ma'am. That part. I love it, love it, love it. Miss Gail.
Okay, hi. My name is Gail Estella. That's my brand name, but my government name is Gail Fair. I'm an author of the Gail Estella Survival. Excuse me, I'm an author Through It All by Gail Estella. Podcast host Gail Estella presents Through It All, and an empowerment facilitator. And wouldn't it be nice if I could be on stages speaking into girls and women's lives to help them not endure some of the things that I endured, such as abuse and addiction.
Amen.
So, yeah, wouldn't it be nice if I could speak and to help save other women and girls' lives?
Beautiful, Gail. Thank you for your wit to be nice. Dr. Brandy, then Evangelist Cheryl, and then Tamisha.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dr. Brandy Nicole of the Hair Clinic RX and Brandy Nicole International. I am a board certified trichologist and confidence curator coach and kingdom midwife. And wouldn't it be nice if I was receiving phone calls from all over the world for me to go into colleges and help develop product lines that provides hair growth solutions, as well as receiving international phone calls to come and speak on how to build your business.
Love, 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 love that. Absolutely beautiful. Very good. Who's next?
Hi, I am Evangelist Cheryl Wise Wallace. I am a hairstylist and salon owner of Divine Inspiration Hair Studio LLC. And wouldn't it really, really be nice if I had a full staff at the hair salon to the point where I could travel and do the things that I really want to do as far as ministering and helping to encourage young women to hopefully not go through the things that I went through. And not only that, but be beside my husband, be beside me, him be retired, and we minister together. Wouldn't it be nice?
Love
Yes.
it, love it, love it. We're gonna have Tamisha and then Michelle and Mona if you can come off mute after that. And if you guys can come on camera, that would be great too. Miss Tamisha?
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Tamisha Hicks. I am a board certified trichologist and cosmetologist. I am the owner of Uptown Diva Hair Restoration Clinic and Salon Studio, LLC. And my wouldn't it be nice would be that I was totally financially free, but leaving a legacy for my family, but be to the point where I could assist others, that my blessing is not just tied up for me, but it is so that I can be able to bless other people.
Absolutely. Love, love, love that. That is awesome. Welcome, Miss Mona. Thank you for coming on camera. We would love to hear. Wouldn't it be nice if? I think you may be on mute. Let me see here.
Okay, can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
I'm extremely tired because I've been running all day. Wouldn't it be nice? Wait a minute, let me start over. My name is Mona Lisa Rayleigh. I'm the proud owner of Hair Natural Hair Salon. And I call it an honor to know that I'm the first natural hair salon in the city of Rock Hill where I reside. Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice if I could invent a bathroom for those that have dementia?
Hmm.
That would take a big weight off of me.
Yeah. Beautiful. Amen. Thank you for sharing, Mona Lisa.
You're welcome.
Michelle, are you able to share? She may not be. Okay, perfect. Very good. Okay, so our next activity is we're going to play a game. Okay, now pay very close attention. Okay, so with this game, what's going to happen is, and I'm going to change the screen and I'm going to give you 10 seconds to look closely at the slide. And I invite you to look at the slide and see everything that you can that is yellow. Okay? You're going to count everything you can see that's yellow. And when I say stop, then write your number down. Okay? So try to remember everything that is yellow. Are y'all ready? I'm about to go to that screen in just a second, and we're going to start the 10-second countdown. Ready? Go. Okay, time's up. Okay, y'all, tell me how many things you saw. 10, 14, 8. Okay, I see you dropping them in the chat. 8, 8. Okay. Okay, y'all doing good spotting the yellow. Good job. Okay, I see another 8. Now, bring to mind all the things that you saw that were red. How many things did you see that were red? Drop those in the chat. About how many red did you see? 2, 2, 2. Okay, perfect. I'm gonna go, see if I can go. I'm gonna go back a screen. So I see like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So far I've counted 12, 13. So that, right? Gail said I didn't pay attention to I was looking for the yellow. I hear you, Gail. I hear you. Absolutely. We were looking for the yellow. So almost everybody saw more yellow than red, right? So why does this happen? Y'all, this happens because a part of your brain, red is my favorite color. Me too. Me too. So it's because there's an area of your brain called the reticular activating system, and it's the part of your brain whose job is to mediate our overall level of consciousness and awareness. So, in other words, the reticular activating system's job is to bring into your awareness what you tell it it's looking for. And it's going to filter out of your awareness the things you say you're not looking for. Okay? So, it's what we're paying attention to that we see. Like it says, seek and you shall
Fine.
Exactly, exactly. So most of us were taught to focus our thoughts on what's reasonable, on what's safe, on why we can't, on what's missing, on what problem we may face, on why it won't work. But the point, one of the points is if you want to change your results and see the things that do work, you have to start by changing your focus. Changing our focus. And this increased awareness is an important part of learning the patterns of success. The patterns of success. So, one of the things that I teach people is how to make their brain work for them to make success and abundance even easier. God designed your brain a specific way. And if you don't know how the brain works, then you won't know how to make it easily work for you. And some of the things we're doing are working against us. So, if when we look at our bank account, all we do is think about what we don't have, then your brain is being trained to think about what you don't have. And because your brain is trained to think about what you don't have, it's going to try to bring every evidence it can to show you. See, remember, you were thinking you didn't have this? Girl, you absolutely right. Look at this thing that just came in the mail. On the flip side, if you start thinking about how abundant you are, every little thing, man, I'm so grateful. I don't only have one phone charger, I got two phone chargers. I'm so grateful I had a comfortable bed to lay my head in. I'm so grateful. When you start to think about something else, then your brain goes and searches for that information for you. When you start to think about your vision and open a corner of your mind to your dream and the life that you're starting to feel like is possible, then your brain will start looking for the evidence of that. But if you tell yourself that it's not going to happen for you, that you don't have enough money, that you don't have enough friends and people to support you, then all your brain is going to do is look to find something to support that lie that you told it. This happens in all situations. If you tell yourself there are no good men out there, your brain is going to work overtime just to find losers. And then you're going to be like, yeah, see, I told y'all it's nothing but losers out here. And it's like, no, like you're only finding losers because you're telling your brain that that's what's here. The same way we all decided to look for yellow and the red, it's like your brain just moves it away. Like, I can't even see the red. Like your brain will literally like me and my husband, we have this conversation. So, of course we go to the same church and some days we'll get in the car and I'm like, babe, did you see that person? Da 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 da. No, I didn't see that person. And he'll be like, babe, oh, the guy who's so and so and so. I didn't see that guy. Well, why? Because like for me, I speak to the people that come across my path, but my main intention is to talk to the ladies that I know. So my brain almost like it like filters out men. Like they're almost halfway invisible to me because I came to fellowship with the ladies. You know? So it's like I didn't see that person. Latavia, he was wearing this so and so and so. My brain said when it's my eyes probably saw the person, but my brain said, this is not the information that you asked me for, so keep it moving.
That's good.
Gail, it happens every day. Every day. Yes. Tamisha said, I use that when I want something. I say it over and over, and I want that, and I'm going to get it. You better say it. You better say it. And so this is how it's called your reticular activating system. That is how the reticular activating system in your brain works for you. And if y'all, the way I grew up, I didn't get a lot of praise. They just said what wasn't good. Like everything that was good, that's what they expected. The things that weren't good, that's when they spoke up. And then I used to come into things like that. Well, that only magnifies the things that aren't good because wherever your attention goes, that's where your energy is going to flow to. Okay. So now that you have a greater awareness of that pattern than you've ever had before, I'm going to share with you a few on the next part of information. But the first thing that we want to do is we're going to do a life assessment. Now, y'all, with this assessment that we're going to do, I want you to just be totally honest. And we're going to do it in just a second. But before we get to the assessment, I'm going to show you another key to the results that you have been experiencing. Okay. This, and it's my, am I sharing my screen? Yes. Okay, let me go back to sharing. Okay, perfect. Okay, so this is our results formula. So how the results formula works is everything starts off with our thoughts. What are our thoughts? What are we thinking about? And then those thoughts become a feeling. Your thoughts become a feeling. Like if I'm thinking about, oh, I'm so happy about, what I'm going to do tomorrow. Just me thinking about that thing tomorrow gave me happiness. So there was a thought and then there was a feeling and then there's an action. Because I am so happy about this thought I had about tomorrow, let me go ahead and pick my clothes out. There's a thought, there was a feeling, and then there was an action. And then that's going to lead to my results. Y'all, one time I was working a job and I heard the kids, they're not kids, they were adults, but they acted like kids. But I heard them at the water cooler, y'all, and they were complaining. This job is boring. This job is so easy. Da 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 da. Why are we doing this job? Y'all friends, Tamisha, Evangelist Cheryl, Gail, Mona Lisa, y'all, I am embarrassed to say that I listened to what those people were saying, and Michelle and Sherry, it got in my brain. Do you know what I started doing? I started being like, yeah, that's right. This is such a menial, minuscule role, y'all, to the point where one day I had my hands behind my head at work and my feet on the desk. Isn't that bad, y'all? Kia. It was Kia. It wasn't my best moment, okay? Unfortunately, during that moment, my desk was in the back and there was like a wall up, but one of the managers had came from behind the wall. And she saw me sitting there with my hands behind my head and my feet up on the desk. I felt horrible. And you know what I realized? I realized that I heard those other people complaining about the job. And so then I started thinking, yeah, man, this thing is so simple. Why am I not doing something more challenging? I'm going to just start chilling. And because of those thoughts, I started feeling like, well, they're not valuing me the way I should be valued. And I started feeling like, well, then I need to be taking a break and just chilling. And that led to my actions, feet on the desk. And that led to the results. Manager walking by saying, what are you doing? Me feeling embarrassed. And also I was slacking off on my work. Now, I had a great conversation with her. I was like, ma'am, please forgive me. Give me just a moment. I will redeem this moment. But all my actions, they started from thoughts. Can you look at a place in your life where you recognize that whatever you're experiencing started with a thought? There are times where I would feel some kind of way about my husband, and I've gotten really I'm in this work, so it's more, I have a higher awareness. But I could realize that came from a thought. That thought might not even be true. It could be an assumption. So now you're letting that thought create some feelings, and now you're giving somebody the silent treatment or the funny face or whatever you're doing that's creating a result, then that person's going to pull away. We could be in all type of relationships that are being impacted all by a thought that may not be true, a thought that may be an assumption, a thought that we didn't cross-reference and tell the person, hey, I'm thinking this. Is that what you meant by that? Now you feeling some kind of way, showing that feeling through your actions and what's happening to that relationship. Kia just shook her head. You get it, Kia? Y'all, what about your money? What have you been thinking about money? What have you been feeling about money? So how are you treating money? What's your relationship with money like? Have you been putting positive thoughts on your money? Have you been speaking that your money is multiplying for you? Have you been speaking that money comes to you easily, effortlessly, frequently, consistently, in increasing quantities so that you feel even better about your money and you take different actions to multiply your money, which is going to give you even better results? Or have you been thinking thoughts of complaining or discouragement about money? Like all of these things, any area of your life, you can use the same formula and go back and say, what have my thoughts been? And have I been, and neutral isn't even okay. Like you could be, if awareness is fine, but if you want to quantum leap your growth, neutral isn't going to do it. We know negative won't do it, but neutral also isn't going to do it. Okay. So you can look at every area of your life and look at this results formula. So there was a lady that I know, and she wanted to start a business, right? And she wanted to start this business that was a cafe and a game room. And so in the cafe and the game room, she was like, oh, I want to start this business. I'm going to have a cafe and a game room. And then the pandemic hit. And she was like, man, I was just thinking about starting this business, but now there's a pandemic. So I'm never going to be able to do this now. Her thought was, now it can't happen. So what was her feeling? She felt sad. She felt depressed. She felt defeated. So what were her actions? She absolutely took no action toward that. She actually started being in the bed more and just kind of moping around. So her result was she didn't execute and she didn't build the dream. Now, an amazing brave thinker came along her path and said, can I ask you to think about this other thing? What if this is the perfect time to start your business? What if right now you're going to get locations at the best for less because it's the pandemic? What if there are owners who people have closed their businesses and they want somebody to get in there and they're going to let you pay less? What if the time where things are shut down is going to be the perfect time for you to upfit the location and have it ready as soon as people are coming out again? She thought about that and she internalized. She said, you know what? That's probably very right. And she started to feel hope again. So the feeling was hope. The feeling was excitement. She took an action and called a realtor, Sherry. Well, guess what happened? The realtor found a location for her. They moved forward on the location. She was able to move into the business. She was able to upfit it. And right when everything lifted with the pandemic, all of her stuff was done. So she got the place at a very low cost, unheard of low cost. She was able to upfit it, get it built, and ready when the time was right. Her thoughts changed the result of what she experienced. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to do an assessment. Now, with this assessment and with your thoughts, you notice what you're noticing. So that's what that comes down to. What are your thoughts about business? What are your thoughts about your health, y'all? I've had some health challenges and I had to assess what my thoughts were about my health. Okay, all of those things, we want to consider them. So next, we're going to do a life assessment. So with this life assessment, there's no judgment zone here. These results are with you and you, okay? With this life assessment, we're going to assess the 4 areas that are currently showing on the screen. Now, with the life assessment, I'm going to ask you to rate these things from a scale of 1 to 10, okay? 1 means there's a lot of longing and discontent in that area. And 10, Michelle, means that I feel really fulfilled in this area. Okay, so we're going to start with health and well-being. So if you're taking notes, if you're writing down, I would love for you to write health on your paper And then I'm going to describe it to you, and then you're going to rate it from 1 to 10. Okay, so number one, health and well-being. So this means that your health, well, one, health and well-being is one thing we all have in common. Like nobody's like, I want to be sick. Like everybody's like, I want to be well. Without health, it's really hard to do the other quadrants the way a person would maybe ideally love to do them. So, okay. For example, if you have a job, but you have the runs, man, that's impeding on my progress. If you have not good health, but you have tons of time and money freedom, then maybe what if a person has to be at home, but they have to have nursing care, they have to have certain things. So that health can impact every area of the 4 quadrants. Okay. So number one, let's look at where we might be in our health. So you might be a person who feels stuck in your ability to transform your health, whether it's losing weight, getting fit, or sustaining long-term results. You may have relatively good health. You don't have any symptoms, but you know there's more vibrancy, better health. Maybe you want to be more toned in your clothes, things like that. You may be the person who hasn't prioritized self-care and allows stress or situations and circumstances and conditions to control your actions and your mood. You may be a person who wants to heal from a chronic health issue or something that doctors may have assumed that would be with you kind of like forever. Okay. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 meaning I have a lot of longing and discontent, and 10 being totally fulfilled, how do you rate your health and wellness? And you can just write your number on your paper. Next is love and relationships. We all have relationships. So, in order to pick your 1 through 10, think about these things. Let's consider if you may be a person who desires to have deep, fulfilling, beautiful, fun, supportive, passionate relationships with a loving and caring partner. Or you may be the person who wants to deepen and expand relationships you're already in. Maybe you know you have some good, solid relationships, but there's a sense that some of your most important relationships are literally on autopilot. Like I'm not even necessarily being super intentional about how I love them and what I'm doing and how can I honor and serve them. Maybe I'm just in this routine. Or you might need to heal a discord. Maybe there's a discord, a disconnect, and it's painful to let that disconnect go on. So how fulfilled are you? Now remember, our promise is just to be honest, absolutely no judgment. So pick your number from 1 to 10. Next is vocation. So vocation is what you do with your time and your talent. So that could be a job, that could be businesses, that could be nonprofits, that could be all of the above. So how fulfilled are you in your vocation? You may be stuck in a job or in a career that you don't like and you don't look forward to going to every day. You may feel like I like it some, but it's wearing and tearing on my body, so something may need to change. Maybe you like what you do, but you work too many hours and you'd love more free time, more time with your kids or grandkids or family, good friends, or more compensation, more benefits, more pay. Maybe you've had great success, but you want to see how high you can actually fly. You may have completed an era of business and vocational success, but it's time for something new. Maybe you're ready to start a business, or maybe you could be a person that already has a business, but it stresses you out. So there's some areas there that you're like, okay, I would love more of this and a little less of this. Okay. Rate it on a scale of 1 to 10. Vocation. The very last area is time and money freedom. And yes, this quadrant is together. Time and money freedom. Time and money freedom. So what does that look like? That means you have the ability to be, do, and have as you choose. That means I'm being who I want to be. I get to do what I want to do, and I get to have what I want to have. So you get to go when you want to go, give how you want to give who you want to give, however much you want to give to. Do I have any big givers in here? Yeah, absolutely. Maybe you're the person that doesn't have the money freedom to do what you want, but you have time freedom, but you know that you need both. Maybe you're missing important moments. Your calendar's so full you don't have time to focus on your goals and dreams. Maybe you have a lot of time and not enough money to go do the things that you would love. So add, you pick 1 to 10 for that one. 1 is the lowest, 10 is the highest. Okay, perfect. So with your numbers, can you please drop in the chat the 2 that you would want to improve the most? So there may be, if you have ties or something like that, pick the 2 that you're like, these are the 2 that I would put some time and energy into shifting for me. So pick the 2 that you want to change the most. Okay, I see time and money and vocation. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Love and relationship and time and money. Freedom, time and money and health and well-being. Perfect, perfect. Very good. Okay, so now everybody, you all have something to write with, right? Okay, so the next thing that I want you to do, health and well-being, time and money, freedom, time and money, love and vocation. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Great job. Great job. Good job noticing what you're noticing. Okay, so now I want you to write down on your paper, how long have you felt that way? Like how long, we're just now talking about it now, but how long have you felt it? Like, how long have you noticed that discontent? How long have you noticed that maybe you wanted to not be behind the chair as much, but you still wanted to create massive income? How long have you noticed that, I don't really care for X, Y, and Z so much, but I really love blank? How long have you felt like, oh, in this relationship area, what I really long for is this? Is it weeks? Is it months? Is it years? Yeah, so somebody said 10 to 15 years. How long is it for you? Sometimes decades. And again, no judgment. We're just noticing. We're just noticing. 3 to 5 years. Got it. Perfect. 5 years. Okay, Kia. Perfect. The next question is, what is it costing you to not change anything? Evangelist Cheryl said 5 to 19. So the next question is, what is it costing you to not change that thing? So say, for example, we call it what is the cost? What is that thing? Say, for example, if I wanted to be a speaker, but I hadn't even started, meaning I knew I wanted to be like me. At first, I knew I wanted to be a speaker, but I told myself, oh, it'll take so long to like build a business doing like that. So I didn't do anything. Well, what if the average speaker makes, or I don't plan on being average, but what if when you started speaking, your goal was going to be to make $50,000 a year and you multiply that times 5 years? Well, then you could be $250,000 richer. What's the cost of inaction on that thing that you have a discontent with? She said, my peace, my health, myself, my happiness, my joy, my health, my wholeness. Costing my peace and being whole, peace and health. So if we went 3 years and nothing changed in those areas that you're like, these are the areas I want to work on. If nothing changed, but it just got a little incrementally worse, then what? Like, how would you feel? Like you have to ask yourself, if I don't do anything and I'm in this same space in 3 years, but actually just a little bit worse, how would I feel? So I want you to type in the chat. How do you think you would feel if it was 3 years later and those main areas got a little bit worse? Unsettled. Okay, that's a good word. Defeated. Good word. Empty. Good word. Overwhelmed. Yes. A good word too. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And so those are all things that it's important for us to recognize because that's how we start to shift. That's good, Gail. My purpose, my confidence, my health, my peace, my joy, and then the other ones, my feelings of worthiness, doubt, and not worthy. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So, in order to adjust this, the first thing we start to do is to design our dream. Because we have to make a decision if we're going to live by default or by design. My encouragement today is that you begin to live your life by design. Live your life by design. So to design, clarity is power and clarity brings commas. Just like you have a clear blueprint when you want to build a house, the same is true with your life and with your dreams and with your destiny. If you told somebody, if it was you were building a house and you said to them, hey, I want you to build me a nice house. Well, you know what? Depending on where you were and who you were talking to, a nice house could mean 1,800 square feet. A nice house could mean 3,000 square feet. So some people, a nice house means 8,000 square feet. You can't just use the word like, I want a good blank. I want a good person. I want a nice house. I want an easy business. Like those words aren't what builds your next. It's designing it with specificity and having a clear blueprint. And having a clear blueprint of what that looks like for you. That is very important. I want to share with you about one of my clients, Ronalda. So, y'all, when I met Ronalda, I met her in Atlanta. And when I met her, she told me she was living with her mom. She had two children that were in like high school, middle school, middle school and elementary school at the time. No, high school and middle school, and she felt really embarrassed because one, she was living with her mom, things with the kid's father didn't work out, and she had a business but she wasn't really making enough money in the business to sustain herself. So I met her and we talked, and she is a believer, and we bonded over some common things, and she said, you know what, I don't know, I didn't have a plan for this, but I know that I need you in my life as my coach. So she stepped out on faith and we started coaching. And then she wrote this. She said, as a part of the 12-week Activate Your Dream Life coaching program, my goal was to increase my income after 3 years of unsatisfactory business revenue. Tavia Jacks helped me identify and overcome several mindset blocks, leading to significant improvements. A major change was the introduction of a new service line offering author coaching and self-publishing support, which quickly became the most profitable service to date. My revenue for the last 4 months of 2023 was around $5,750, but it exceeded $20,000 in the first 4 months of 2024. Y'all, she went from about $6,000 in 4 months to making $20,000 in the next 4 months. She said the program also enhanced my faith, my spiritual connection, improving both my personal and professional life. I highly recommend Tavia Jackson. But now Ronaldo's life is even more amazing. Y'all, she has moved. She no longer lives with her mom. She has her own space with her and her kids, y'all. Like her life has drastically changed for the better. And it's absolutely beautiful to see. Napoleon Hill said, no one amasses great wealth without the help of others with specialized knowledge. And sometimes we know kind of that there's more, and we kind of know that like there's something next, but getting specialized knowledge from other people has been a game changer in my life, for me, as well as the people that I work with. And Myron Golden, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of him. He's awesome. He said, we act like we are victims of the way things are. And in reality, we're victims of the way we are. When I heard him say that, I out loud said, ooh. We act like we're victims of the way things are, but in reality, we're victims of the way we are. She said, me too. Me too. So, we have the thoughts thing that we just went back to, and we have what have we been focusing on? Like, there's so many principles that cause us to reflect, that cause us to reflect. So the next thing, we design our dream because clarity is power. Next, you have to decide for your dream. You have to decide for your dream. So what does it look like to decide for your dream? To decide for your dream means you make a choice. You make a choice. We were building a business and we wanted it to be huge. And then we met some people that literally all they do is fund businesses and help them become massive. And they had said, well, you said you wanted it to be big, but it looks like you're building it small. Do you really want it to be big? And I was like, oh my. It wasn't that we didn't want it to be big. It was just that we didn't know how to make the transition from doing it the way we were doing it to making it massive. And a lot of people, it's not that they don't want their thing bigger. It's just that they're doing with what they know. They're doing the best they can with what they know. It's like, well, I do want it to be massive. I actually don't know the thought process to build massive, or I actually don't know the systems I need to build massive. Okay, so you have to decide for your dream. So you know what they said to us? They said, well, we see this major. Let us know if you're in. All right, let us know if you're fully decided. Because decide, the CIDE, it's the same root word like pesticide, insecticide. When you decide, that means you're going to kill something. Something's got to die, Gail. Something's got to die when you decide. Maybe it's Netflix and chilling. Maybe the thing that's got to die is the old patterns. Maybe the thing that's going to die is the self-deprecating thoughts. Maybe the thing that's got to die is letting family members pull on you so much that you never have time to do something for yourself. Maybe the thing that's got to die is being everybody's solution, but not utilizing your own funds to grow your own life. Maybe the thing that's got to die is just some old habits. But whatever it is, when you decide, you are cutting away something that no longer gets to have the same level of significance or authority in your life. So my question is, are you deciding for your dream today? Yes, release what no longer serves us. Release what's not going to help me move to the next level. Like maybe it was great for a time, but that time has passed. And now it's time to quantum leap my results. So you have to have a decision mindset to decide. Okay, so this is my bold theory. One, you need to have boundaries. We want to have boundaries. What are boundaries? Boundaries are things that protect you. They protect your time, they protect your energy, they protect your well being, they protect your relationships. So maybe that boundary is, if you worked all day after 7:30 p.m., maybe you're not taking any more business calls. Maybe that's your time for you and your dream or you and your rest. Rest is a whole game plan. Hmm. Gail said my head is hurting, so much to think about. I know it, Gail, almost every time I meet with my mentor, my head starts hurting. I'll be like, OMG, like, let me just breathe for a second. I get it. I get it. I get it. What are your boundaries? Sometimes our boundaries mean we're going to tell a few people no. When you have a vision, in the Bible, when it says a man that has vision, without vision, people perish. And that word, when it says that they perish, it's like man that doesn't have a vision, they cast off restraint. When you cast off restraint, that means that you don't know who to say no to. It means you're living without a clear focus. But when you have a vision, you know what to say no to. If your vision is to help girls and women, if somebody says, hey, can you come over here and spend 6 months dedicated to my camp, helping these grown men do X, Y, and Z, What is the answer? No, that is not who I'm called to. Don't be like, oh, well, they asked me, so you know. And they might even throw a little some dollars over there. Well, they said they were going to give me $500. Ma'am, that is not your vision. We are not going over there to help those men when he didn't call you to that. And the women and the girls are crying, praying for the answer, and it's you, and they need you to show up somewhere so they can recognize you. One day, when I was first starting my business, one of my coaches said, somebody's out there crying and on their last end, at their wits' end, because you haven't stepped all the way into your purpose. I was like, oh my, okay, okay. You are an answer to prayer. And sometimes we scale down how important we are. You scale down your presence in the atmosphere. Sometimes, kid, we scale down how much impact we think we make. I know y'all know. I know Dr. Brandy. I know Evangelist Cheryl. I know Tamisha and Kia and Gail Estelle. I know Mona Lisa. I know that you guys, your whole aura changes people. Sometimes people just come in your space and it lifts their spirits. Like it's not, no pun intended, but of course it's bigger than hair. But do you recognize the impact of your voice, of a word that you share that changes a life, that gives you hope and courage? Do you recognize the impact that it can make? It makes a huge impact. So don't scale it down. Make sure you have boundaries. And then optimize your calendar. What does that look like? Well, when you don't optimize your calendar, maybe you're spending all this time doing things that don't matter. Maybe when people ask you to set up a meeting, you don't set a time frame and they wind up talking your head off for 2.5 hours. And you're like, no, I was supposed to be doing something else. But because we didn't optimize our calendar, we let them have all this time. 3 hours later, dang, I thought I was going to write out my budget today. Man, thought I was going to start working on that next product. Thought I was going to work on my book today. Thought I was going to have a chance to call X, Y, and Z, and did not. Okay, so we want to optimize our calendars because it's the law of the vacuum. People will use up all the time you'll give them. They'll keep you on the phone till you say, now I gotta go. Because they love you. You know they love you. You are very lovable and you are blessing their lives. But are you optimizing your calendar? What does your calendar look like? Did you put, they say that if you don't calendarize it, that you're not making it that important. Because if you have a doctor's appointment, how do you remember it? When they make your appointment 3 months from now, do you say, I'm going to just hold that in my mind? Okay, January 15th, doctor's appointment, show up, 8 o'clock. No, you put that part to make sure you put that thing in the calendar. What about working towards your dream? Is it in your calendar? Did you put time each week for what you're going to do as you build your dream since you decided for it? Since you decided for your next level? Did you put some time in your calendar? Did you put marketing time in your calendar because you're ready to welcome more clients in? What did you do? What did you put in there? Whatever is most important to you is usually going to show up on your bank account statement and on your calendar. If people say this X, Y, and Z is so important to me, and you look at their bank statement and you don't see nothing connected to it, oh, it wasn't that important. You think it's important, but it ain't that important. How important is your growth to you? Like what have I invested in that shows that this is important to me? How have I made time on my calendar that shows this was important to me? What have I moved off my calendar because that wasn't important anymore? The other thing is when we do set time on our calendar, but then not because we were instructed to by God or by the Holy Spirit, but just because something in our heart wants to. We give people all this extra time. It's almost like proving that you're worthy. Like you're like, oh, they paid me for this, so I'm going to give them this and the kitchen sink. Like what you told them that you were going to give them was more than enough. But if we don't just sit and rest in the weight of that value, then we overgive and we overgive and like, oh, well, one more thing. And girl, I'm going to email you this too, girl. And you know what, girl, I'm going to throw this in for free too. And you know what, guess what? You can have another call again tomorrow. You know, next week, girl, call me again this same bad time, same bad place. Listen, am I coming down the street?
Deliver me, honey, deliver me.
Listen, y'all, we have to optimize our calendar because those are time and energy and money leaks because you could be making money using that time doing something else. Evangelist Cheryl said, you are on my back doorstep, but you are so massively valuable. Massively valuable. An hour of your time is literally probably worth $2,500. If you think about all the money that you can make and you divide that by the time that you sleep and the time that you work, your time is massively worth more than $2,500 an hour. So ask yourself, if I were to make $2,500 tomorrow from 8 to 5, is every hour that I'm going to spend doing these other things the way I would really love to spend them, or are those taken away from the $2,500 an hour I'd be making? We got to start thinking about some of those things. Just open a corner of your mind to consider, are you doing with your time what you would love? And is it the best use of your time? And are there places where we may be allowing some form of a limiting belief or some form of a feeling through our worthiness? It's like you wouldn't flat out say, I feel unworthy, but some of our actions are showing that maybe I don't know how to quantify my worth. Maybe I don't know if this is as valuable as I think it would be, so I'm just going to overgive. Most of the time, the fact that you have that heart tells you that whatever you're giving is as valuable as you think it is. You're not out there trying to take advantage of anybody. You're giving with a loving heart, with the right attitude, and with the right mind. Okay? So next is leverage your assets. To leverage your assets, that means what do you have multiples of? I remember I had duplicate systems. Okay, I got this system that does this, this same system does this. Cut some of that stuff out. If you put your stuff in that subscription finder that would tell you all your subscription, you'd be like, oh Lord, I could watch the same show that I like watching on 3 different things. I'm paying $15 a month for 3 things and I can watch all of them on Amazon.com. You know, whatever it is. But leverage your assets. Hey, I have a meeting with this person and this person about trichology. You know what? Both of them come at the same time. I could spend that hour and a half. I could talk to both of them at the same time. I can do this, this, and this. I'm about to leverage this time. Yes, I'm still going to make it personal. Yep, I can still see. I'm assessing, I'm analyzing, I'm doing all the things. But guess what? That's not 3 hours. Now that's an hour and a half. Now you get your time back. What is it that you can leverage? Think about it, think about it, think about it, and decide. Think about what you can leverage and decide. Think about what you can leverage and decide. Okay? So you also get to decide for your dream. You also get to decide, what am I going to kill so that something can live? What can be delegated or eliminated? What can be delegated? What can you delegate? Is there a niece or nephew? Is there a high school kid that wants to come sit under you? These kids are so talented these days. Maybe you need some social media and you're thinking about, oh, I don't like that. I'm not good at that. You don't have to. Delegate it. Post, hey, I need a teenager. I need a college student that wants to help get some hours in cosmetology and they want da 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 da. You know you're called to be this. You want to come sit with an expert and come work with an expert while you serve. Come on, people. These things are coming up that you think are things that will block you, but they're not blockers. All we have to do is open our mind and the solutions will appear. Reticular activating system. So if you tell yourself there isn't a way, if you tell yourself I can't, your mind goes and it shuts down an opening to a solution. If you say I can't, your mind says, right, girl, you can't. We ain't even going to try and think of a way to help you because you told us you couldn't. If you tell your mind, I don't have it, I can't do it, I don't have enough, your mind says, Close it up then. Don't even try to think of a way because she said she can. But if you start opening up your mind and saying, I know that there's a way, I know that there's a solution. God, show me the answer. Show me the solution. God, show me the person that can help me implement this. Father, this is what I'm working with. Show me how to do it with, even though I see this. All you have to do is ask. There is no problem that an answer doesn't already exist for. It's impossible. God is all knowing. So there is no problem on this green earth that there isn't an answer to. All you need is an answer. So instead of letting some limitation stop you going forward, you want to ask a powerful question. Who can help me do this? Where are they? Send them. You may just make a statement. Send them. Where do I need to be to find them and to welcome them in to my life? Okay. The last thing is we got to decide for support. Y'all, I'm a Marine. Something about me, I don't know, like, it's like there were times where I felt bad desiring support. Like people would be like, oh, do you want me to come help you do this? No. Oh my gosh. If they would have just showed up and did it, I would have let them do it. But they like, do you want help with this? And I would say, no, no. But we have to decide for support. And some of the support costs money, and that's okay too. Still decide for the support. I pay for meal prep. I pay for somebody to do the yard. Decide for support. That support is worth it. It's worth it for somebody to come clean my home. Cleanliness, it just gives me an open mind, a free space. Like I feel so much peace and clarity when everything's in a specific place. Come get the nooks and crannies. Maybe your needs not set up that way. You know what? Let somebody else get the nooks and crannies. But you have to decide for that level of support. Sometimes we're in a slowed down state of creation and manifestation reception because you don't have a proper support system, because you're doing things that your mind isn't gifted to do. And by that, what I'm saying is if you're gifted to build computer systems, but you spend 5 hours mowing the lawn and cutting the bushes when you could have spent 5 hours working in your gift, that means you could have. It's worth it for me to pay somebody $50 to cut the grass when me spending 5 hours in my gifting will produce thousands of dollars. Let people do what they're gifted at doing. He is gifted at that. He can look at a branch and tell me what's wrong with it. Hey, Arthur, this little thing has a hole in it. Oh, that's this kind of worm. I'm gonna do this, this, and this. Sir, do it. Use your gift. Get paid and compensated for what you do, and let other people get compensated for what they do. If you realize how much money you make when you're in your sweet spot, it is worth it to allow other people to use their gift and their sweet spot to be support for you. You know, it took me 8 hours one day to clean my house. Them little people come with their crew and they clean up in 3 hours. That 8 hours, then I was drained, then I was tired. I didn't want to do anything after that. But if I could be working in my sweet spot, come on. Come on, somebody. Come on. This is Miko. Miko wrote her a best-selling book after working with me. She said, I praise God for allowing you to help me awaken the dreamer in me. God divinely will bring those in your life to help pull something out of you to take you to God's purpose for your life. So the last thing we're going to do before we take a quick break is to remember this. Hard work doesn't build wealth. How many of you know somebody that's been working hard? How many of you know somebody that has literally gave something their all? You can watch people half as talented as you are rise above you. You know why? Because you can't outwork your beliefs. You can see your beliefs and how they work, but you can't outwork your beliefs. You have to shift your belief system and your mindset also to create new results. So that means you have to decide to upgrade your beliefs and agreements to create a new life. Decide to upgrade your beliefs and your agreements to create a new life. The last thing I'm going to show you before we take a break, and I would need a volunteer. Can I have a volunteer that would be able to come off mute and be a reader for us for this last exercise before we take our break? Okay, Evangelist Cheryl. Okay, Evangelist Cheryl, go ahead and come off mute. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to change the screen, and would you please read this? I'm going to have you read this for everybody, okay?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. Is my screen showing?
No.
Oh, okay. Let me start. Hold on one second. Okay, perfect. Here you go.
Oh, okay. According to research at Stanford University, it doesn't matter what order the letters in a word are. The only important thing is that the first and last letter be in the right place. This is because the human mind does not read every letter by itself, but the word as a whole.
That part. Now, notice when she first looked at it, she was like, hold up, wait a minute. Sometimes we don't even know that what our brain can do. We don't even know that we can do it. But when you start taking a step forward, she probably was like, oh, that was easy. Look at that. That was easy. And some of us may feel the same way about wherever we are. Maybe we were at the beginning and we don't know the middle. We don't know how we're going to get there. We don't know how we're going to create the income that we used to create from behind the chair without being behind the chair. We may not know how we're going to get on the stages to speak. We may not know how we're going to create the thing that gives us more time and freedom to care for loved ones and still build the business. You may not know the middle, but as long as you know the beginning and you know where you want to go, there is a process that will work out for you in the middle. So, in this moment, we are going to take a 6-minute break and come right back at 5:50 for our last concluding exercise. So I encourage everybody just take a quick break, get something to drink if you need to, move your body just a little bit. And we're also going to do breakout rooms. So if you can come on camera, for those who aren't on camera, please do for this last part because we're going to do a powerful exercise together, also connecting with each other. So amazing job. I'm going to turn on some music and I'll see you guys back at, let's do 5:51. Okay. Awesome. That going. Perfect. So the next thing that I want you to consider is when you decide for new results, you really don't have to be overly concerned with the how. And that's what we were showing as she read for us about from the Stanford experiment when they realized that if people's brain just knows the beginning and the end, that it can figure out the middle, even if the words are jumbled up and don't even make sense. So you get to decide for new results. So what you want to know is where you are now and what you would love. And you don't have to focus on the middle part, which is the how. Or what if you're like, well, I don't have everything I need, even though I know where I am and I know the where I'm trying to go, and you absolutely do nothing. And sometimes we do that in life, we do that in business, just not knowing the how. Like what if people didn't start anything just because they didn't know how they were going to get all the money? When we started our popcorn business, we had no idea how we were going to get the money, but we signed the papers and we said yes, yes, we're going to do this. And we had like what 6 months to find 9 months to find a location. We found a location in like 20, 35 days. So we didn't, even though we didn't know what the full how was or what the middle pieces were, we didn't let that stop us. Because oftentimes you're not going to know the whole thing before you get started. You're supposed to just follow the instructions step by step, and that requires a dependency. And I know that can be so uncomfortable. It's like, God, I don't know what's next. Why don't you tell me the whole thing so I can write out every step I'm going to take? But He wants you to fully trust and rely on Him every day. Day. Somebody say, day. Okay. So that happens when people sometimes it's time to step out and do something big and they say, I don't have the money. Instead of saying, I know I live in God's abundant universe. The money will come. I'm making a decision. I'm taking a step forward. Um, what about time? Sometimes people are like, well, I don't know if I have the time. Well, the thing about it is when you have a vision, you know what's important to you, so you make the time. Like we don't let time be the obstacle. We decide for our dream and we adjust things to work with time. Sometimes people are like, well, I don't know about my spouse. I don't know if they X, Y, and Z. Well, for me, I would ask myself, I know you love me. I know you want to support me in my dreams. And so I feel very strongly that I'm doing X, Y, and Z. My spouse is always like, that awesome. Good. I hear. What do you need? What can I do? And what about delay? Delay is one of the most dangerous things that come up for people because they tell themselves that their delay is a yes. So people act like delay is a yes. What that looks like is saying, yes, but next year. Yes, but in 2 years. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. 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 Give me about so and so time. Yes, but after the kids go to college. Yes, but after this, this, and this. Yes, but the but's gonna keep getting in the way. And that delay is a distraction, and it's one of the most dangerous paradigms because that delay turns into the 3 months and the 1 year, and then we look up and it's been 5 years and we haven't started, we haven't moved it forward. And so we want to be very, 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 very careful about that delay paradigm and how it likes to show up in our lives. And it tries to show up at y'all. I have seen people delay for all type of reasons. Like delay, I gotta pray about it. Now you telling me that God gave you this gift and he randomly brought this X, Y, and Z into your position for such a time as this, and you think what were you like, what are you thinking that he's thinking? What were you thinking that he was thinking? And so sometimes we can say spiritual things to disguise our own limiting beliefs. And I call that a spiritual bypass. That's like I'm going to bypass the truth and I'm going to act like the spirit can just take me over this loop. Even when you ask, like, how are you really doing? And people be like, tell you something random. How are you doing? Don't do that. Acknowledge it. How are you feeling? I believe in theology, therapy, and transformational life coaching. Hello, somebody. We're not skipping over stuff like I am very much a believer. I am an I have an evangelistic anointing. I am an elder at my church. I am a prophetic intercessor. I cover my entire church and everybody my church covers. And my church covers some powerful people. Dr. Juanita Bynum, Dr. Valerie Moore, many, many pastors that if I just said their name, or you could easily look them up. My church covers them, and that means I cover them. And there are times when we will inadvertently like blame something on God because we'd be like, oh, nobody gonna say anything if we say that. But what is it really for you? Don't over spiritualize something when it's really something hiding underneath there. Maybe an insecurity. Maybe it's just a fear. Maybe it's I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe there are other things underneath there, and we just try to blanket it, and we don't get down to the root, which means we're not getting down to the healing and the transformation that's really needed for us to move to the next level. And I know for me, every time that I was supposed to do something up until like 4 years ago, it was always money. Like, hey, want to start coaching? Oh, how much that costs? Oh no. Y'all, the numbers were nominal. Like now I can't believe I did that. Like I can't believe that somebody told me that something would be $3,000 to step into my purpose and and it could be done over time. Like what in my mind made me think that that was a lot of money? Like I don't even know. It's like my mortgage was $3,000. So why did I not think that it was worth me spending $3,000 on my dream and my purpose? And and when God brought the next thing around, oh my, y'all, it was nowhere near $3,000. I I was like, whew. And it was like I heard the Lord say, "Is it always going to be money? Because if it is, that's always you're never going to get past this. I'm gonna keep bringing this money thing up. I'm gonna make the numbers bigger and bigger until you stop letting your whatever this is with money trump me telling you to do something." A lot of times, whatever it's been for you is going to keep showing up until you overcome that thing. So are you going to overcome that thing or are you going to keep letting it be that? It could be money. It could be family members. Everybody needs me so much. You telling me they need you more than what God said he needed you for? Like, come on, man. Come on, man. Do you really want to feel that important? that you won't step into what he's telling you to do because it makes you feel so needed and useful. Like that's something in us we gotta kind of pay attention to and see what's happening in us that's pausing us from going all out, trusting, believing. And y'all, I know we've had hurts. I know we've gotten no's. I know we've had people say things to us that made us shrink. I know we've experienced results that made us shrink. Like it's like, well, I did believe for it, and then this didn't happen. So now this is why I am where I am today. And now this is why I believe what I believe today. My assignment today is to tell you to breathe again. I kept hearing it over and over ever since Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The reason why it's I do dare to dream, dare to dream, dare to dream, dare to dream. And at first I was like, it sounds so weird to say dream because a lot of people are like, that feels unrealistic to them. And God was like, yeah, you've experienced it too. Like you've worked on something and you've had a dream for years and it seemed like it was struggling for years. And so what did you do? It was harder to see it big because of those results. And God was saying, if I tell you to come right now, will you come? Because you won't sink when you come when I say come. Like when he told Peter to walk on the water, come step on the water, that thing didn't have a rain check. It wasn't like, can we do it tomorrow? No, come. My hand is out. Come right now. He like, water don't hold up humans, sir. Water don't hold up humans. He said, come right now. And so, my charge to you is whatever has happened up until now, whatever you have experienced, even if you felt like you've been drowning, even if you felt like you did everything you knew to do and it hadn't been working out, when you feel like, I know God told me this, like what is happening right now? I have been there, got the t shirt, the mug, and the pen. But there's something about you having a divine appointment to come on this today that is telling you that if that resonates with you, that you got to move off the weights, all the experiences that aren't informing you that there is victory apparent in your life to move forward. Victory is certain. You aren't the same person that you were 2 years ago. It's physically impossible. It's physically impossible. Even if you felt like you made a mistake before, it is physically impossible for you to do that exact same thing again because all the barrels would have to be the same and you're not the same. You think different. You've grown. You've gotten new information. Your brain process is different. You've allowed the Lord to minister to you in ways and show you new things. You are not even the same person anymore. It is impossible for that past thing to happen to you again. You don't have to worry about that and let that plague you from going all in with your heart, with your mind, with your soul, and with your faith. Whew. I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like in money. I know what it feels like in relationships. You know that feeling like if this doesn't work, like how impactful it would be? Like that. And that comes with businesses, that comes with our ideas, even with our health. Like sometimes we have those feelings come up with our past, what we've experienced. It was because of what I had experienced in my, it wasn't because of the near future. It was only because of my past. But your past is not the indicator of your future. And if you keep holding on to your past and the results that you had before, you're going to train your brain to only look for those negative results or that result that won't serve you in your future. And today we want the result that will serve you in your future. And that's why we're going to step into your dream and your vision. So I want you to know the third key to shifting your results. We talked about designing your dream. We talked about deciding for your dream. And now you got to feel the fear and do it anyway. Let me tell you what fear is. When it's not like a bear in your presence, when it's like intangible things, all fear is telling you that you're at the edge of the reality that you've known. It's saying, I don't know this reality. I'm right at the edge. It's like if you had never been outside of your town And you went and stood on the line of your town and the next town, but you felt afraid to go over there. It's like, I know my town. I know the streets. I know the people. I know my aunties. I know all the stores. I know where the stuff is at in the Walmart. I know to go left or to go right. I know everything here. But now I'm stepping out into something I don't know. The business. Stepping out into something I don't know in the relationship. Stepping out into something I don't know with my dream. That's all fear is telling you. When you feel fear, I want you to put your hand up and pat yourself on the back. Say, go ahead, girl. You made it out this far. You made it to the edge of your comfort zone, because your comfort zone is your failure zone. If you just stay where you're comfortable, you will not grow. And that's what fear is saying. It's just saying, hey, girl, you're at the edge of what you've known. Now, will you step out so you can keep expanding? It's just like going to a new school. You like when you feel that feeling like, oh, I don't know, this is a new school. But after 3 weeks, you're like, oh, okay, I know my routine. I know the teachers now. It's the same thing. Like, you may feel afraid, but do it anyway. Like that fear is just telling you you're on the edge of the reality that you've known. So fear is false evidence appearing real. And sometimes people feel fear and they use that for forget everything and run. Sometimes your nervous system kicks in, y'all. One time I had to transfer money. I chose to. I chose to pay for a program. And the program was it was a third of my first mortgage. It was $40,000. And I knew that I was supposed to do it. I knew that God wanted me to do it. I knew all the things. I knew it was what I needed. But when it was time to hit that button, my back was sweating, my underarms were hot, my nose was sweating, my breathing was shallow. That thing hit my whole nervous system. My body was like, we don't know this. Like, we don't know this person. Listen, that baby, that part. It was like, what is happening right now? And I wanted to forget everything and run, but I knew that my body was just telling me I'm not used to this. And if I don't normalize moving large sums of money, then how am I really going to accomplish my goals and dreams? You got to normalize that stuff. How can you expect to be a millionaire and you can't move a few tens of $1,000s here and there? I know one time this church said, we're so sad. We have a $10,000 light bill. And they told Joel Osteen, and he was like, my light bill is $50,000. You want big, but can you think that big without it being a problem or a complaint? Okay. So why do we fear the dark? Y'all, I used to be so terrified of the dark. When I would go to sleep at night in my parents' house with my closet door open, it felt like there was people in there. And I could tell myself they were my clothes all day, but it didn't feel like that. So in the dark, you can't clearly see. I'm not ashamed to admit that I had to close that closet door every night before I went to bed for many years. But one thing I learned about fear is like the dark. And you can't chase away the dark. Like, I could run around in my room in circles and the dark won't go anywhere unless I'm the Flash. You can't chase away the dark, but you can turn on the light. So with fear, you can't chase away the dark, but you can turn on the light. That means you can let there be light. Let there be truth on that fear. Okay, I'm afraid of this. Now let's shine some truth on this thing to dispel that fear, to break that fear down. And that's how we start to shift. One, do it anyway. But two, shed light and break down the fear. And break down the fear. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we are going to do an activity, because everybody has a dream inside of them. And I want to know if you're ready to design yours today. I know some of you all were able to attend the my breakout sessions at Impulse Summit. We had an amazing time at Impulse Summit. I was able to meet some of you all, hug your necks. Some people were able to purchase books and things like that. So that was so awesome. And yes, we did. Yes, yes, yes. I know this is something that I regularly do. Tapping into your vision and your dream. Yes, Dr. Brandy, I can definitely get you that. Tapping into your vision and your dream is so important. You could literally do it every day, and it's only going to help your brain keep moving in the right direction. Keep moving in the right direction. Everybody has a dream inside. I put one of my favorite cars on here for y'all, that BMW. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Something I love doing, getting massages. Healthy mind and healthy body. Freedom. No job. So I just put some of these things on here for me, but everybody has a dream and you have your own dream. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys some instructions, and then I'm going to give you about 3 minutes to journal, and then we're going to go into some breakout rooms with this. Okay, so I want you to think about what you would love. Think about what you would love. Imagine that it's October 5th, 2028. You're going to write this down first. Okay, so we're going to get to write it down. You're going to write. Imagine that whatever you have been desiring, you wrote down your longings and discontents. We know what those things are. Now we're going to write things out as if it all worked out to the nth degree, that God did way above what we could ever think or imagine. You're living in your dream place. You're spending time with the people of your dreams. They have the attributes, the characteristics of what you would love in your life. You're doing what you want with your time, with your energy, with your money, what you want with the people that you want. You're giving away money the way you would love to. Your health is amazing. And so we're going to engage our five senses. Where are you? What does it look like, Kia? What do things smell like, Sherry? Michelle, what are you experiencing? And you want to use affirmative words, meaning don't use a negative word, use the positive version of the word. So instead of saying, I'm going to just use something that comes up for people. Maybe a person had a disease, a specific disease before. So instead of saying, I don't have this disease, I've been blank free for this many years, instead of saying that, just say, I'm in my best health. My body is healed and whole. I've been going to the doctors 3 years straight, and every time all my numbers and metrics are perfect. Say, I'm in my best health, but don't call out the diseases, because your brain is still hearing the diseases and it's still going to keep you focused on that disease. And the more you focus on the disease, the more you're telling your body basically that disease is a part of me. There's a much longer version of that, but that's the super short version. But we're not going to focus on those things, because we want to focus on what we would love, which is healed, whole, best health ever, best mobility, vibrant health. You can move your bones, your joints easily. You can move your wrists, everything that you want to do. You can do it with ease. You can do it with ease. And then when we do the activity, when it's time, the person who's speaking first will close their eyes when we do that part, and the other person will just listen on mute while they share. Okay. But first, what we're going to do first, the first thing we're going to do is I'm just going to give you guys time to journal, because I don't know about you, but I like to kind of like get my thoughts together and write out some of the things that are coming to me. So we're going to be able to do that first, and then we'll move into speaking and sharing with one another. Okay. So in this moment, I believe everybody has notebook and paper. So I highly recommend notebook, because even though you can type, there's something about what happens from your head into your hand and a pen when you're writing, or a pencil, that is different from typing. Okay, that's different from typing. So I'm gonna give us 3 minutes to journal. We're gonna just take about 3 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn on some music, and I'm going to turn on a timer and allow you all to journal. So remember these instructions that are up on the screen, and I'm going to share some music and set our timer up. Remember to write in the positive, and don't write just a little bit of a better life. Write the life you really want. Write it as if the way you wrote it, God's going to do it. Don't hold back. Don't question it. Write it all the way out. Okay? perfect. So I'm gonna put 3 minutes on the timer. Okay, perfect. Time is up. She would say to be continued. And there's a few people that aren't on camera. If you want to participate in the breakouts and you can come on camera, please do, as we want to just make sure that people have a person with them when they go into their breakout session. So that will be awesome. If you can come on camera, please do. Okay, excellent. So now we just started writing, we started processing, but it's like a pump and a primer. Like the more you pump it, like you may be like, oh, you know what, that was too small. Write what you would love. Even now, we just kind of started pumping the pump, priming the pump. So now it's going to get even better and better. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to some breakout rooms. And so while you're in your breakout room, we're going to share your dream and your vision with the person. And you wrote it, but you're not going to read what you wrote. That was just kind of to put the thoughts in your mind so it's easier when it's time to share. Okay. So what does that look like? What this looks like is you're going to go in the room and each person is going to begin to share. You can tell the person your name, and then we all start with, I'm so happy and grateful now that. Okay? I'm so happy and grateful now that. I'm so happy and grateful now that. And after we say that, then you begin to share that whatever you had in your mind, whatever you have in your heart, that you may be writing down or that you're going to share for what your life looks like because it's all worked out. Okay? So, with that, as we begin to go into our breakout rooms, I want everyone to remember the first person, let's say the person with the longest hair is going to go first. Okay, so person with the longest hair, you're gonna go first. Um, you're gonna hold space for them. Don't interrupt them. Stay on mute while they share. And then you have 3 minutes. So if you finish at 3 minutes, don't start. I want them to take the full 3 minutes, even if that means they're internalizing or they're gonna come up with something they want to add. Allow them the full 3 minutes. And then I'll send a message in the break rooms to let you guys know it's time to switch. Okay? Okay, perfect. So I'm going to send you guys into your breakout rooms. Welcome, welcome. Everybody's starting to come back in the room. As you're coming back in the room, we have a few that are coming. I know their rooms are closing like 15 seconds. Start thinking about 3 feelings that you felt writing and communicating your dream to the other person and real feeling words. So think of 3 feelings that you felt expressing your dream, saying your dream, living that dream. What are 3 feelings that you felt doing that?
I'm sorry, we just got clicked in, so I missed what you said.
Perfect. No problem at all. So welcome back. And I think we have a few people still coming on their way back. So please begin to write out 3 feelings that you had when you wrote or communicated and shared your dream. What are 3 feelings that you had during that?
Oh, no. What's that?
Give some thought to your 3 feelings. And then I would love for you to come off mute. Just we'll give a few people an opportunity to just come off mute. What did it feel like sharing? Like, what was that like for you? And what were your 3 feelings? And if you, it's okay if you want to say 1 or 2 of the 3, but what did you feel?
I felt, and let me just say, this is my 4th time doing this. And that 3rd time, it hit me so hard that I could not stop speaking in tongue.
Glory.
So I'm just, okay. So my 3 words, that's what I'm saying. My 3 words were freedom, joy, and confidence.
Mm-hmm. Love that. Thank you so much for sharing. Who
I'll
else?
share.
Yes.
So, my 3 emotions, my 3 feelings were joy, excitement, and love.
Mm, I love that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Miss Sherry, would you be able to share with us too?
Let me untap. Can you hear me?
We sure can.
Um,
Hi.
you can hear me. My three feelings were releasing, happy, new path.
Mm, okay. Very good, very good.
I'll go.
Yes.
Mine were proud of myself, solace, and power.
Mm, come on now.
Mm.
I love it, love it, love it. Kia, how about you and Tamisha?
Hey, okay. Mine was confident, free, and bold.
Love it.
Mine was relief, hopeful, and nervousness, but not in a bad way. Nervousness in a way that I it helped me to remember what God told me. And it was just like, wow, like God, you really are doing this. So not in a bad way, but just really like, okay, God, I see it. I see it.
I understand the feeling. I understand the feeling. That is powerful and amazing. Thank you all for being amazing sisters to your partners and sharing with them and allowing them to hold space for you. And I want you to allow your body to remember that. Like allow this to be your new normal. I recommend that if you wrote out your vision and your dream, that you revisit it again tomorrow. Revisit it again each week. Like then some days just take one specific section and write about that and say that out loud. Like I have friends that they'll do she did her vision 44 days in a row. And the things that happened and broke out in her life were just monumental. This is like breathing life into your spirit, breathing life into vision, because then after your dream, you also often will have insight on, okay, so this is shaping my life. Now that I have a vision, it's giving me direction. Okay, so amazing, amazing job, everybody. You did a phenomenal job with that. And your dream looks amazing on you. So earlier today, we talked about, those moments of longing and discontent, the whispers in your soul that are saying, hey, there's more for me. There's more for me, because there absolutely is. You felt it when you went through maybe a health challenge. You felt it when you went through things in relationships. You felt it when you experienced things at work or in business or in your salon or in your suite or with your nonprofits. And you felt it with your assessment. And you already know the two areas that you most want to change. Now, here's the truth. If nothing changes, nothing changes. A person will be in the same space weeks and months or even years from now, still longing, still waiting. And that's not God's best for you. I know what it's like to feel the rug pulled from under you, to wonder if you'll ever regain momentum. This is the momentum moment. This is a momentum opportunity. I told my story about, losing my job and the things that happened, and hearing that voice of the Lord saying, serve more people. And it took courage. It took me stepping out. It took me becoming. I had to become. And now I live in full alignment with my calling. It feels so good. Like if I would have known that it felt this good to be in full alignment with my calling and purpose, I would have done it a long time ago. But I didn't know. I didn't know. Okay. And so this has happened for many of my clients. Like Crystal, the therapist, had thought she should just wait until later to pursue her dream speaking internationally. She shifted her mindset. She took bold action. Or like many of my clients that I've shared testimonials about today, they're living proof of what's possible when you have the right guidance and a proven system. Now, research shows y'all that most people would actually rather die than change. Doesn't that sound crazy? But it's the truth. Here's the reason why. It's not because they're bad people or because we're bad people. It's not because we don't have goals. It's because the human psyche is kind of complex. And there's this thing called paradigms. and limiting beliefs and like a gravitational pull, and that we talked about during this masterclass. And those things are like, they like to keep you in your normal flow. So like, I know one day, say for example, you drive the same route every day to the shop, every day to the salon, whatever days you go, you drive the same route. Well, say for me, every day I would take my child to daycare before the same route, daycare, the same route. Well, one day my child had a dentist appointment. I made the wrong turn. I know we had the dentist appointment. It was on the calendar. We did all the extra teeth brushing and mouth washing and flossing in the morning before we left. But when I got in that car, my brain still had me driving to the daycare. I took the wrong turn. I was like, oh no, I'm going to be late because I took the route as if I was going to the daycare. But that's not how we get to the dentist office. Everything in me knew that I had a different goal, but my brain put me on default. And that's why a lot of people may have the best ideas and intentions, but those paradigms, the limiting beliefs, and their regular default comes sometimes to take over. So, one of the things we know for sure is that when someone goes out to do something newer, a new diet, implement new information from a conference, write a book, create a new plan, statistics show that in about 2 weeks, they go back to the same way of life. Not because, again, they're not good people, but the likelihood that somebody's going to walk out of the Dare to Dream Masterclass and implement all of these things is about a 10% chance. But the amazing news is that research has shown if you just have support through a coach, a mentor, a structure, that your likelihood of becoming successful goes up 85%. I had a lady that came to my birthday masterclass. We did a 2-day masterclass, and she was so excited. She was so moved. I think she cried at least an hour each day of the 2-day masterclass. She was so moved, and she felt God's presence and him speaking and realizing that she wasn't crazy and the things that she was asking for wasn't wrong. And I had a meeting with her recently. And during that time in the meeting now, when she came to work with me, she said, I enjoyed every bit of that class. She said, but after a week or two, I didn't have the same enthusiasm and I didn't do anything. And then more recently, she was working with me, and now she's launching her jewelry line. She has the venue. She has a date of November 15th for her jewelry launch. Like, everything is moving now. And so we've seen it over and over and over again that when you have that support, you create even better results. So, what's the next step? That's why I'm offering a private one-on-one strategy session for those of you who are serious about creating your next level of results. For those of you who, when we talked about those numbers, were you 1, 2, 3, or 4, and you know that whatever number you are, you're ready to quantum leap your results and step fully into the purpose, like you know where God is calling you to and you're ready to get there. This is a $400 session that I'm gifting you all complimentary because you showed up here today. Okay. So as a part of being here, we're going to get crystal clear on your dream and the results that you want in the next 12 months. Now is the time to build out 2026. We're going to identify the hidden paradigms and the patterns that have showed up and kind of put that barrier between what you want and the results that you would love. And we're going to map out the plan so you can move from longing into living your dream. So this isn't a generic call. It's a one-on-one. It's personalized. This is the blueprint for your life that you've been imagining. And we're going to walk through that together. Now, I only have about 4 spots. And when they are gone, they are usually gone. So if you know this is your time, I'm going to drop a link and go ahead and schedule your strategy session. So the strategy sessions are typically an hour. Sometimes they're 45 minutes, but you want to make the time for you. Like, if you and your dream isn't worth an hour, what is? Like, really? Like, really, what is? So here's the link. If that's something that interests you, please feel free to click that if you know that you're ready to move that forward. That is my gift to you, for being present, for being all in, and for showing up today. So while that happens, while you all are entering that information, I am going to play this powerful video, and then we have one more nugget before we conclude tonight. So 1 second, and I am going to play this video. And can y'all type in the chat? Give me 10 seconds. If you can't hear the sound after 10 seconds, please type in the chat that you are not able to hear. Okay, let me share. And
it is not death most people are afraid of. It is getting to the end of life only to realize that you never truly lived. There was a study done, a hospital study, on 100 elderly people facing death close to their last breath. They were asked to reflect about their life's biggest regret. Nearly all of them said they regretted not the things they did, but the things they didn't do, the risks they never took, the dreams they didn't pursue. I ask you, will your last words be, if only I hit, hey, you, wake up. Why do you exist? Life is not meant to simply work, wait for the weekend, and pay rent. No, I don't know much, but I know this. Every person on this earth has a gift. And I apologize to the Black community, but I can no longer pretend. Martin Luther King, that man never had a dream. That dream had him. See, people don't choose dreams. Dreams choose them. So the question I'm getting to is, do you have the courage to grab the dream that picked you, that befits you and grips you? Or will you let it get away and slip through? You know, I learned a fact about airplanes the other day. Now, this was so surprising. See, I was talking to a pilot, and he told me that many of his passengers think planes are dangerous to fly in. But he said, actually, it is a lot more dangerous for a plane to stay on the ground. I said, what? Like, how does that sound? Well, he said, because on the ground, the plane starts to rust, malfunction, and wear much faster than it ever would if it was in the air. As I walked away, I thought, yeah, makes total sense, because planes were built to live in the skies, and every person was built to live out the dream they have inside. So it is perhaps the saddest loss to live a life on the ground without ever taking off. See, most of us are afraid of the thief that comes in the night to steal all of our things, but there is a thief in your mind who is after your dreams. His name is doubt. If you see him, call the cops and keep him away from the kids, because he is wanted for murder, for he has killed more dreams than failure ever did. He wears many disguises, and like a virus will leave you blinded, divided, and turn you into a kinda. See, kinda is lethal. You know what kinda is. It's a lot of kinda people. You kinda want a career change. You kinda want to get straight A's. You kinda want to get in shape. Simple math, no numbers to crunch. If you kinda want something, then you will kinda get the results you want. What is your dream? What ignites that spark? You can't kinda want that. You gotta want it with every part of your whole heart. Will you struggle? Yeah, you will struggle. No way around it. You will fall many times, but who's counting? Just remember, there's no such thing as a smooth mountain. If you want to make it to the top, then there are sharp ridges that must be stepped over. There will be times you get stressed and things you get depressed over. But let me tell you something. Steven Spielberg was rejected from film school 3 times, but he kept going. The television execs fired Oprah, said she wasn't fit for TV, but she kept going. Critics told Beyonce that she couldn't sing. She went through depression, but she kept going. Struggle and criticisms are prerequisites for greatness. That is the law of this universe, and no one escapes it. Because pain is life, but you can choose what type. Either the pain on the road to success or the pain of being haunted with regret. You want my advice? Don't think twice. We have been given a gift that we call life, so don't blow it. You were not defined by your past. Instead, you were born anew in each moment, so own it now. Sometimes you gotta leap and grow your wings on the way down. You better get the shot off before the clock runs out, because ain't no overtime in life, no do-over. And I know I sound like I'm preaching on speaking with force, but if you don't use your gift, then you sell not only yourself, but the whole world short. So, what invention do you have buried in your mind? What idea, what cure, what skill do you have inside to bring out to this universe? Uni meaning one, verse meaning song. You have a part to play in this song. So, grab that microphone and be brave. Sing your heart out on life stage. You cannot go back and make a brand new beginning, but you can start now and make a brand new ending.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. That was a phenomenal video. I love watching that. And so I just wanted to share with you all in closing. So I am Tavia Joyce Jackson, but I'm known as Tavia Jax in the coaching world. So what's my superpower? My first name means a shortcut to new beginnings. That is what my first name means. My middle name means joyful, but it also means one who's experienced in battle. Many battles, y'all. Everything from multiple deaths in the family to being diagnosed with an incurable disease that God healed me from being laid off 3 times from corporate America, to having things in my marriage that the Lord healed and restored and fixed. So many battles, to miscarriage, so many battles, financial battles. And my last name is one who moves others into position, one who supplants. So I'm literally on an assignment to be your shortcut to your new beginning, regardless of the battles that you have endured and suffered up until now. Up until now. So, because of that, there's one of my clients, her name is Karen. And when I met Miss Karen for 2 years ago, when I came on her doorstep, about the 4th day I dropped my son off, she said, I want to start a daycare and I want to have my own building. And I've been trying to for 16 years. And I looked at her and I said, well, it's not an accident or a coincidence that I'm here. My name, who I am, is a shortcut to your new beginning. And the person will help move you into the position that you know you're called to be in if you accept me in that regard and you would like to tap into that. And she said, absolutely. Y'all, she went from not having enough money as a single mom with 3 kids to money coming to her from the most random places, contractors doing work for her for free. The daycare, she bought the building, but because of the work they had to do on it, she already had it for 6 months. They didn't make her pay a dime until months after she had kids in the building. She now owns her daycare. She has a daycare full of children, servicing parents, and is living her dream. So, the reason why I share that with you, what my name means, is because it's the reminder of my key phrase, which is you were born to win, and I was literally born to help you do it. So I absolutely love each and every one of you all. I'm so glad that you are here today. Thank you for taking some time out of your day and out of your Sunday to join me, to get empowerment, to hear, to open your mind up to newness, to something new, to your next level, to getting vision and capacity for what's next. I talked to a lady that was at Impulse Summit on Friday, and she said, I've been to Impulse Summit 6 years and I've never been this clear on what I was supposed to do next. She said, I've never been this clear. And so that may be you. And so with your clarity, I would love to support you in your next steps. So if you had a short touch base with me, go ahead and schedule the strategy session so we can have the time to cover and personalize this now that you come to the masterclass. I'm going to stay on for about 5 minutes just in case anyone has a question or if you couldn't find a time and you need some assistance, okay? Outside of that, y'all, thank you for being here. Tag me. I'm on social media, Tavia Jax. If you got a nugget, please feel free to post or tag that, hey, I got this great nugget, or that you came or that you enjoyed it. And I would love to see that and just see that from you all too, okay? Awesome. Thank you all. Have an amazing rest of your Sunday and an amazing week.
Tavia.
Yes.
Am I supposed to call you Tavia? What
Yes, that is fine.
address you? Is that
Yes, it is absolutely fine.
I know we had talked during the Impulse Summit, and I told you I never saw the email that. So, do I discard the email now that I've done this, or is that something separate?
If you scheduled your strategy session, this is perfect. You get a whole hour with me.
Okay, okay, all right. I'm just making sure.
Yes, absolutely. Great question. And did you wind up getting the email? Because I went and sent it the next day.
I I don't know. I didn't necessarily see it, but I have not checked my junk yet either. I have so listen.
Okay. But all the
I have over
notifications.
40,000 emails. Don't judge me. We listen and we don't judge. So yeah.
Okay. Perfect. But did an email come to give you the link or did you only use text?
I never saw the email, but that doesn't mean it didn't come. I just didn't see it.
Okay. So you got the link from the text?
I just got the link from here.
But to actually come to this event,
Oh
did
yeah, yeah. No, no, I got the text. I got a text to come here.
okay, maybe I need to get your email then.
Yeah.
Can you reply to the text and put your email? Maybe I have it in there wrong or something.
Okay.
Thank you. I just want to make sure you get everything you're supposed to get.
Okay. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Evangelist Cheryl. Yay, Kia. I'm so glad you came to. Sherry, you're good? Perfect. Any other questions before we close? And Sherry, I just want to make sure there wasn't a typo. You said you see time available, so I think you're good, but I just want to make sure. I think she's good. Okay, perfect. Awesome. Y'all, I'm sending huge hugs to you. I can't wait to have conversations with you all and get to know you more and build on what God has put inside of your heart.